Good evening to everybody, and we start with today's class. Now, today's chart that I am going to discuss with you was given to me around 7 days back. So it was one of the students of our class, Lakshmi ji, who had given me the details for the chart for the purpose of BTR, and then, of course, the justification of all the events which had happened. In fact, her basic prime motive behind the chart and its BTR was, I think it is the chart of her brother's daughter, if I am right. So it's better if she's here, so she can tell ki whose chart it was.
Yes, sir, my brother's daughter.
Yeah, that is. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. So, what she intended to know was that her brother's daughter was to give a birth to child, and the date was given by the doctor. That was 4th of April 2023. Right? Now, I had discussed some details with her, and then finally she provided me with a rectified time of 18:28, 48, 4:31. Now, this time apparently appeared to be okay because we are in a position to explain all the events on the basis of the chart. But there are still certain points which we cannot explain on the basis of the time that was given. Aji Murthy ji, good evening. So, what I told her the other day was, my timing that I calculated was 18 hours, 29 minutes, 16 seconds and 649 milliseconds. So she raised a point that on this particular time we are unable to pass the chart through progression. I did check. I did myself checked it. But I think while checking it, I committed a mistake. And the mistake was that if we need to adjust the chart in a progression and say some of the planet that is not appearing in any of the cusp, because the only problem was regarding the marriage. Now, what I did was, the point which I did not at that particular moment of time, I did not adjust it slightly. Had I did it, I would have got the time. What we need to do is, while adjusting the progression chart, now in progression, the co-rulers of the moon transit, they are very important. Co-rulers of the ascendant are very important. Then the dasha period lords are very important. And all those should, their planets should signify the marriage giving houses. Now the time that was calculated first was 989 microseconds. And when I took that time, Jupiter was not appearing anywhere, either in 5th or in 7th or in 11th. So what I did was, I did the micro adjusting. I adjusted the time by a few microseconds, milliseconds, and I adjusted it to 649 when Jupiter appeared in 7th cusp. And that explained all the events very nicely. Now the second point for this particular rectified time which I calculated was that on the basis of this rectified time, I am in a position to calculate the exact date of the childbirth along with the time at which the child has to be born, which otherwise on the basis of the time which was given to me earlier, 18, 28, 48, 431, we are unable to explain the childbirth on that particular day, because here what I pointed time and again, I had a discussion with Murthy ji also. Time and again, if Murthy ji remembers, I pointed out that the childbirth can happen only if there is Rahu Sukshma and Jupiter Prana. I did point out, but the time which was given 18, 28, 48, 431, it was Mars Sukshma, Rahu Prana, which is not correct. And when I rectified it to 18, 29, 16, 649, I got the result what I expected, because here at this particular moment of time I am getting Rahu Sukshma, Jupiter Prana, and that gives me the exact Sukshma and Prana for the childbirth. And secondly, at this particular, for this particular Sukshma and Prana, I am in a position to calculate the time for the childbirth, which comes out to be nearly around 2:30, 2:30, yani 14:30. And the childbirth took place, what she told me was at 14:31. So the time that tallies with that. Now that is the chart, a brief summary of what we are going to discuss it today. Now I directly start with the chart, and I'll discuss all the events, or should I discuss the BTR as well? Whatever you suggest, I can go through it, because BTR will hardly take 5 minutes or 7 minutes to do, because in this particular chart, all the events we can explain at the time which was given to me. The time for the native was, it was 1829, and there is hardly a small change in the time period for the rectified chart. Now, should I start with the rectification, or should I start with the events directly? So whatever you suggest, I can carry on.
So with BTR is, I think, sir.
BTR करें, discuss. Okay. I'll just present the chart.
Now this BTR is through polar method only, sir.
Yeah, cooler method. Cooler method. Absolutely right.
That's what, sir. Thank you, sir.
No, I'm not able to get the chart.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Why I'm not getting the chart today?
Okay, sir, we go for tense, then
Can you see the chart?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
we are getting here.
Is the chart visible?
Yes, sir.
No, it is
Please
not there.
not open. You are open. The screen is visible, sir.
I had to do it again. Why the chart is not coming up?
Now? Yes, sir. Again it's gone, sir. It came
Are
and
you
gone,
getting?
sir.
Are you getting the chart?
No, sir. Now,
No, sir. No, sir. No, sir.
Not yet. Now see.
No,
not
sir.
yet, sir. Previously it is open, sir.
Chart तो मैंने शेयर कर दिया है. I've already shared the chart. But why
Sir,
I'm unable to
namaskar,
show?
sir.
नमस्कार जी,
Namaskar.
नमस्कार.
అందరికీ కూడా good evening, sir.
I have to present the entire screen, na?
Yes, sir.
Entire screen. Share. Still, why I'm not getting the chart? I'm unable to get the screen today. I don't know what is happening. Click to return to video first.
Previously, one time it came, sir. Yes,
Is it okay now?
it is okay, sir. It's okay, sir.
Okay, sir.
Okay now. Right. So this is the chart, and if you just look at the basic data, I'll open the screen for the basic data. So the basic data is the chart of a female, right? Now the longitude and latitudes are given, and then the date of birth is 2nd of January 1993. Time of birth is 1829. This is the rectified time which has appeared over here. It is 1829, right? And then the chart which I get is this one. I will change this time to the initial time. Right. Now, is it okay?
Yes, sir.
Now, in this particular chart, if you just have a look at this chart, there are 4 events we need to discuss for this chart. The 4 events, they are, the first one is the death of the grandfather. The death of grandfather, that is one event. Here it is. The death of grandfather, that is on 28th of June 2015, 3:36. The marriage date, which is 20th of November 2021, 9:44. And the childbirth, which is on 3rd April 2023 at 14:31. The time which was given by Lakshmi ji. Now, these are the 3 events. Now, before I proceed on to explain all these 3 events, now, first of all, I need to rectify this time. Okay. Now, the very first point is that the moon star lord and the ascendant sub lord, they have to be linked to each other. Now, fortunately for this particular time, 1829, the ascendant sub lord is Ketu and moon star lord is Ketu. They are automatically linked to each other. So
Yes, sir.
I need not change it. I need to keep it the same. Right? That's the first point. The second point here is that I need to go through the rule of 1, 7, and 10 and check it out whether the rule passes or it does not pass. So if I look at the rule for 1, 7, and 10, I first of all take the 4 rulers of the ascendant: Mercury, Jupiter, Venus, Ketu, Moon, and Jupiter. Okay. Either I can restrict up to sub level or I can proceed up to prana level. It doesn't make any difference at all. Now, if I look at Mercury, which is the sign lord, so Mercury is in the first cusp. Mercury has no PS. If you look here in the planetary positions, Mercury has no PS. And since Mercury has no PS, thereby Mercury through its star lord and sub lord should give us the cusp, 1, 7, and 10. 1, 7, and 10. Right? Now, if I look at Ketu, Ketu is present in first cusp, co-ruler of cusp number 1. And if I look at Rahu, Rahu appears in 10th cusp, so it satisfies the condition. and Mercury as a co-ruler of the ascendant passes the rule of 1, 7, 10. So Mercury is present here. Mercury is present as the Sukshma Lord of Moon. So both these, they pass the rule of 1, 7, 10. The next planet I select is Jupiter. Jupiter, if you look here, Jupiter has no PS. And since it has no PS, therefore through its star lord and sublord, it should satisfy the rule of 1, 7, 10. Now if you look at Moon, Moon is present here in 10th cusp. Am I right?
Yes, sir.
And K2 is present in first cusp. So 1 and 10, it satisfies the rule of 1 and 10. Jupiter here is okay. Jupiter is also sign lord of Sun, and Jupiter is also prana lord of Moon. Jupiter is also prana lord of cusp 1. Is it okay? So Jupiter also satisfies the rule of 1, 7, 10. The next planet in question is Venus. If I look at Venus, Venus is in the first cusp. Venus has got no PS. So Venus through Mars and Venus should satisfy the rule of 1, 7, 10. Mars, we have already seen it to be present in cusp number 7. Mars is present in 7th cusp, and Venus is present in first cusp. Venus is also present in 10th cusp. Therefore, this also satisfies the rule of 1, 7, 10. The next planet in question is Ketu. Ketu also does not have a PS. Thereby, Ketu through Mars and Jupiter should satisfy the rule. Ketu itself is present in first cusp. Mars is present in 7th, and then Jupiter is present in first. So 1 and 7 are there. Therefore, this planet also satisfies the rule of 1, 7, 10. The next planet is Moon. If you look at Moon, Moon is present in the first cusp. Moon is posited in 10th cusp. Moon has got no PS, so Ketu and Moon should satisfy the rule. Ketu is in first cusp, Moon is posited in 10th, thereby this also satisfies the rule. Jupiter we have already discussed. So all the co-rulers of cusp number 1, because when we are to justify the rule of 1, 7, 10, we have to justify it through the co-rulers of the Sun, the planetary co-rulers of Sun, Moon, and then the ascendant. Ascendant is okay. Now let us proceed with Moon. For Moon, the first planet is Mars.
Excuse me, sir.
हाँ जी कहिए.
Sir, more cursors displayed on the screen, sir.
More cusp?
More
Yeah.
cursors.
Multiple cursors are visible on the screen, sir.
So it should not.
It's very difficult, sir.
My screen is just simple screen today. Nothing wrong with it.
Okay.
I think आज तो मैंने
It's might be a network problem, sir.
maybe
Problem. Might be a network problem.
Yeah.
It's very difficult. Okay, no problems.
Right. It is only because of network. Nothing else.
Okay,
So
sir.
now it is clear.
Now it is clear.
Okay, sir. Now
Yes, sir. Just now it's corrected, I think.
Okay, it's okay now.
Sir, yes, sir.
Okay. Now let us proceed with Moon.
Sir,
हाँ जी कहिए.
Sir, previously we are seeing 1, 7, 10 that relation, sir.
जी.
Suppose if any planet have positional status, there is no need to satisfy that 1, 7, 10.
Yes. नहीं, there is. If it has positional status and if it appears in any 2 out of 1, 7, 10, it is okay. Then we need not go to its star lot or its sublot.
Any two satisfy it is
Yes,
okay, sir.
yes. Any two. Sometimes sometimes we have to carry on only with one. And
Yes,
the most important one is the 10th.
Yes, sir.
The 10th cusp.
Yes, sir.
Because 10th cusp is second to father, addition of child. So the 10th cusp is important. Right?
Yes, sir.
Then if it is appearing, it should have appeared only in 10th, even then it is okay, right?
Yes, sir.
So any planet with PS, if it satisfies, if it is present in 1 and 7 or 1 and 10 or 7 and 10, it is okay. Suppose if it is present only in one cusp, that is 10, even then it is okay, right?
Yes, sir.
And if
So
it doesn't have a PS, then what we need to do? We need to pass the rule of 1 7 10 through its star lord and sub lord. That's important.
compulsory.
Compulsory.
So the positional status gives some relaxation.
Yes, correct. Okay. So we were talking here about Mars. Now if you look at Mars we have already discussed, it is present in 7th, right? Mars has no PS, so I'll proceed to Jupiter and Ketu. Jupiter is in 7th, Ketu is in 1. Okay. Mars is okay. See, Mars is in Jupiter and Ketu. Jupiter star, Ketu sub. Jupiter is
Yes, sir.
present in 7, Ketu is present in 1. So 1 and 10, 1 and 7, okay.
Yes,
Right? The next planet is Ketu. Ketu we have already discussed as the ascendant sub-lord. Ketu is okay.
Yes, sir.
Ketu is okay. The third one is Moon. Moon we have already discussed. It is Sukshma lord of the ascendant.
Yes, sir.
Right? The next one is Rahu. Now Rahu we need to study. Rahu has got PS. Now if Rahu is present in any two cusp, then it is okay. Rahu is there in 10th. Rahu is not in 1. Rahu is not in 7. Rahu is only in 10. Since it is present only in 10, I need to go to its star and sub. Star is Mercury. Mercury is present in 1. Rahu is present in 10. It is okay. Even if I look at Jupiter, it is present in 7. So it is 1 7 10. It is present in all the three 1 7 10. It is okay.
Yes, sir.
Right? Then the next one is Mercury. Mercury we have already discussed as ascendant sign lord. Jupiter we have already discussed. Right? Now let us proceed to Sun. Jupiter we have discussed. Venus we have discussed. Venus was sublord. Rahu we have already discussed. Mars was sign lord of Moon, and Mercury we have already discussed. So at this particular time period, the rule of 1 7 10 is not violated. It clears up, thereby this time appears to be okay. Any questions, please, now? Any questions?
No, sir.
No.
No, sir.
No. Okay. Now, before I proceed on to events, first of all, let me just adjust the arc. Now, the ascendant here rises in the sign of Gemini, which is a male sign. Okay?
Yes, sir.
Ascendant rises in Gemini. It's a male sign, and the chart is of a female. Thereby, what is important here? That the arc should be greater than how much? 50.
Yes, sir. Greater than 50.
Female, it should be greater than 50. So I will, it should be above 50. So what I do is, I change the time in seconds.
Yes, sir.
Right?
Yes, sir. Panel be changing, sir.
I think I clicked number of times, that is why it is changing regularly.
That's sir. Panel Sukma changing, sir.
No,
Yes,
let me come back to the time. Oh, ये बहुत प्रॉब्लम रहता है इसमें.
It's okay, sir.
Now this is okay. So the arc is greater than 50%. So the arc is okay. Ketu ascendant sub-lord, Moon sub-lord. Okay. 172 710 rules satisfied. Arc is okay. Right? Now, what I need to do is, Further, I need to check the events, and I would try to see if at this particular time period all the events they pass or they do not pass. Okay, so the first event that has happened was the death of grandfather, which is on 28th June 2015. So I will put here 28th June 2015. The marriage was solemnized on 20th November 2021.
9:44 a.m.
Or 20th November 2021. These are the two events, and the third one is the child, birth of child. That was on 3rd 4/2023. Okay, so these are the three events. The fourth event is job joining, which is 8 of May 2014. Right. Now let us talk about the very first event, which is the death of grandfather. Right. Now if you look at the death of grandfather, for grandfather, now which are the important cusps we need to focus? First of all, grandfather is father's father. So 9th from 9th is 5th house. The 5th house is ascendant. 5th is ascendant. 12th house is the 8th house. 6th house and 11th house are the markas. 4th house is the marka. And for the 7th sign, which is a movable sign, the 11th house, that is the third, 11th from ascendant, that is the third house, it is the badka. So the houses in question, they are 5, 12, 6, 11, 4 and 3. Is it okay?
Yes,
Is it
sir.
okay?
Yes,
Right?
sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, the Dasha period lords, on the day when the death happened, were Venus, Mercury, Mars, Venus, and we are not sure about the prana. Why we are not sure? Because we are not sure whether the time which we have selected over here is the exact time or some rectification has still to be done over here. So our focus will be primarily up to the Sukshma Lord. Right? Now, for the event of that to happen, what is important? The Dasha Lord has to be very, very strong. Death can happen only in a particular Dasha. And what are the important points that we need to keep in mind for the event of death to happen? The first point which is important is that the Dasha Lord, which is Venus, should be co-ruler of either the ascendant, that is 5th house, or should be the co-ruler of 8th house, that is 12th house, or should be the co-ruler of Badka, that is 3rd house. If it appears as a co-ruler of 5, 12 or 3, then it satisfies the rule number 1. Now this is very, very important. See, if Dasha Lord does not happen to be a co-ruler of either of these cusps, and suppose if it is posited in these cusps, even then it is okay, whether it has got PS or it is without PS. So the first essential and fundamental condition for any dasha to give the event of death is that it should be a co-ruler of ascendant, 8th house or the Badka house, one of these three houses. And it is only if it is co-ruler of any of these houses, only then it can be a strong dasha in which the event of death is likely to happen. Is it clear, please?
Sir, this is the dasha of the grandfather, sir.
Dasha, this is the Dasha at which the death of grandfather has happened.
Grandfather horoscope, sir.
No, not grandfather horoscope. No. See, what we are doing is try to understand. Can everybody understand Hindi? हिंदी समझ आता है?
Yes, sir. We are understanding, sir.
इंग्लिश में भी बोलता हूँ, हिंदी में भी बोलता हूँ, ताकि इट मेक्स यू मोर क्लियर.
The common language. Yes sir.
इंग्लिश में भी बोलूंगा.
थोड़ा हिंदी में थोड़ा तकलीफ होगा.
नहीं, हिंदी में भी कुछ लोगों को.
मूर्ति जी, आप एक ही को तकलीफ होगा, सब लोग को मालूम है.
सबको मालूम है, कोई बात नहीं. मैं इंग्लिश में भी बोलूंगा और हिंदी में भी बोलता हूँ. इंग्लिश में तो मैंने बोला है कि व्हाट इज इंपॉर्टेंट फॉर एनी प्लैनेट टू बी ए दशा लॉर्ड इन विच द इवेंट ऑफ डेथ कैन हैपन. So the first and prime, the foremost, the important condition is that the Dasha Lord should be co-ruler of either the ascendant, which in the present case is 5th house, or the 8th house, which in the present case is the 12th house, or the Badka, which in the present chart is the 3rd house. So Dasha Lord should be co-ruler of either 5th house, 12th house, or it should be co-ruler of the Badka, that is 3rd house. Now, if I look at the Dasha Lord Venus, Venus is sublord of the 5th house. It satisfies the condition. Venus is also the sign lord of the 12th house. It satisfies the condition. And if you look at Venus, it is also present in the 3rd quas. The 3rd condition is also satisfied by Venus. What does it mean? That Venus is a very, very strong planet which supports to give the event of death. अब मैं जो बात बोला हूं उसमें सबसे पहली बात, जो इम्पोर्टेंट बात है, कौन सी दशा में डेथ होगी, इसके लिए दशा लॉर्ड को बहुत स्ट्रांग होना चाहिए. और दशा लॉर्ड कोई भी बहुत स्ट्रांग कब होगा? जब वो डेथ गिविंग हाउसेस का सिग्निफिकेशंस दे. अब दशा लॉर्ड बनने के लिए सबसे पहली और सबसे प्राइम कंडीशन, सबसे इंपॉर्टेंट कंडीशन जो हमें लेनी है वो क्या है कि दशा लॉर्ड जो है या तो असेंडेंट का कोरूलर हो, या 8th हाउस का कोरूलर हो, या बादका का कोरूलर हो. यदि इन तीनों में से किसी एक का कोरूलर भी हो तो ये पहली कंडीशन, एसेंशियल कंडीशन उसकी सेटिस्फाई हो जाती है. यदि दशा लॉर्ड 1 में ना आए, 8 में ना आए, बादका में ना आए, तो ऐसी दशा के अंदर डेथ जैसा इवेंट नहीं हो सकता. और जब तक दशा यस नहीं करेगी, भुक्ति, अंतरा, सूक्ष्म, प्राणा कुछ भी नहीं कर सकते. बिकॉज they all proceed and move in a systematic manner. Systematic manner is दशा हाँ करेगी तो भुक्ति पे जाएंगे, भुक्ति हाँ करेगी तो अंतरा पे जाएंगे, अंतरा हाँ करेगी तो सूक्ष्मा पे जाएंगे, सूक्ष्मा हाँ करेगी तो प्राणा देखेंगे. अब मान लो दशा भुक्ति ने हाँ की, अंतरा नहीं करेगा, तो फिर हमें ये देखना पड़ेगा इस अंतरा में नहीं होगी तो क्या जो बाकी अंतरा बचे हुए हैं उनमें हो सकती है कि नहीं हो सकती. ऑफ कोर्स किसी ना किसी अंतरा में तो होगी. सो प्राइम सबसे इंपॉर्टेंट कंडीशन पहले दशा लॉर्ड को फिक्स करने की. एनी क्वेश्चंस नाउ? किसी को कोई क्वेश्चन पूछना हो?
No, sir. We are understanding.
ओके, इज इट क्लियर? अब सबसे पहले हम क्या है, दशा लॉर्ड को ही पढ़ लेते हैं. अब दशा लॉर्ड देखें, हमने देख लिया कि दशा लॉर्ड जो है हमारे पास वो असेंडेंट में भी है, वो 8th हाउस में भी है, 3rd में भी है. सो द दशा लॉर्ड इज प्रेजेंट इन द असेंडेंट, प्रेजेंट एज ए को-रूलर इन द असेंडेंट, इन द 8th हाउस एंड इन द बादका. अब दशा लॉर्ड को पढ़े हम, तो दशा लॉर्ड को पीएस नहीं है. पहली कंडीशन तो दशा लॉर्ड ने सेटिस्फाई कर दी, लेकिन दशा लॉर्ड को पीएस नहीं है. ओके, अब दशा लॉर्ड को पीएस नहीं है तो हम दशा लॉर्ड के सिग्निफिकेशंस को पढ़ेंगे. वी विल रीड द सिग्निफिकेशंस ऑफ द दशा लॉर्ड थ्रू इट्स स्टार लॉर्ड, सब लॉर्ड एंड सब सब लॉर्ड. ओके, Now, before I come to this point, or before I discuss the significations in the terms of star lord, sublord and sub-sublord, अब दूसरी एसेंशियल कंडीशन, दूसरी इंपॉर्टेंट कंडीशन क्या है किसी भी दशा लॉर्ड के लिए, टू गिव द इवेंट ऑफ डेथ, which is the second important condition for any dasha lord, to give the event of death. दूसरी important condition जो है, the second important condition is that the dasha lord should establish a relationship with the 8th FSL. That is very, very important. First condition, it should be a co-ruler of 1 or 8 or Badka. Second condition, the dasha lord should link itself or should have a relation or should get linked to the 8th sub-sublord. Now, in the present case, the 8th sub-sublord is Mars. And now, if the 8th sub-sublord is Mars, the dasha lord is Venus. Let us see if the dasha lord Venus is connected to Mars or not. If you read here Mars is in Mercury sign, Jupiter star, Ketu sub, and Ketu is Venus. Am I right? Ketu is Venus. Therefore, Mars is in Venus sub. They are linked to each other. They are linked to each other. So the second condition is also satisfied. अब मैंने जो दूसरी बात बोली है कि पहली कंडीशन तो असेंडेंट 8th या बादका का कोरूलर होना चाहिए, वो कंडीशन सेटिस्फाई कर दी वीनस ने। दूसरी कंडीशन क्या है कि जो वीनस है, जो प्लैनेट है, जो दशा लॉर्ड है, इसको 8वें कस्प के सब लॉर्ड के साथ लिंक बनाना चाहिए। ये इंपॉर्टेंट है। यदि ये लिंक नहीं बनाएगा तो फिर हमें यहाँ पे 8वें कस्प के अंदर अरेंजमेंट करना पड़ेगा, चेंज करना पड़ेगा इस टाइम को, ताकि हमारे पास यहाँ पे कोई ऐसा प्लेनेट आए जो दशा लॉर्ड के साथ लिंक बनाता, जो दशा लॉर्ड के साथ लिंक बनाता। अब इस कुंडली में जो हमारे सामने है, हमारे समक्ष है, इसमें यदि आप देखो तो 12वें का यानी 8वें का सब लॉर्ड मार्स है। तो मार्स को वीनस के साथ संबंध बनाना है। वीनस देखो तो वीनस मार्स के स्टार में संबंध बन गया।
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
मार्स देखो तो मार्स
Right.
केतु के सब में है, केतु वीनस है, तो
Yes,
मार्स का भी वीनस से संबंध बन गया। तो जैसे मर्जी देख लो, दोनों ही केसेस में ये बहुत स्ट्रॉन्ग रिलेशन बना। ये सेकंड पॉइंट है जो इंपॉर्टेंट। नाउ द थर्ड पॉइंट, वीनस द दशा लॉर्ड शुड बी ए स्ट्रॉन्ग सिग्निफिकेटर ऑफ डेथ गिविंग हाउसेस। यानी क्या मतलब हुआ इसका कि वीनस शुड बी ए स्ट्रॉन्ग सिग्निफिकेटर ऑफ द फर्स्ट हाउस, 8th हाउस, मार्का हाउसेस, बादका हाउसेस। अगर इसके साथ
11.
if it makes a strong relationship or linkages through its star lord, sublord and sub-sublord with 1, 8 Marka and Badka houses, then it becomes a very, very strong dasha where the event of death is likely to happen. Right, please? Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. अब अगर आप वीनस का देखो ना, बिफोर आई प्रोसीड टू, क्योंकि वीनस को पीएस नहीं है, इसीलिए मुझे वीनस को कैसे पढ़ना पड़ेगा। मार्स, वीनस एंड मरकरी। वीनस इज इन मार्स स्टार, वीनस इज इन वीनस सब, एंड वीनस इज इन मरकरी सब। ओके, नाउ इफ यू लुक एट वीनस, इफ यू लुक एट द कस्पल पोजीशंस ऑफ वीनस, तो ध्यान से देखो, वीनस 5 में है, वीनस इज इन 5th हाउस, Venus is in 3rd house, Venus is in 12th house, 3 prime houses, 1, 8 and Badka. In addition to this, if you look at Venus, Venus also appears in 11th house, which is in Badka house. Venus also appears in 4th house as a sub-sublord. 4th house is what? 12th to the 5th house, 12th to the ascendant, means end of everything. किसी भी हाउस के लिए उसका 12th हाउस क्या होता है? ए हाउस ऑफ लॉस। एम आई राइट? For any house, the 12th
Yes
house
sir,
is
yes sir.
house of loss. अब ascendant के लिए house of loss कौन सा है? 4th house. फिफ्थ के
Yes
लिए
sir.
4th 12th हो गया. इसका मतलब क्या हुआ? What we can say that the appearance of 4th house means end of everything. End of everything means what? Loss of ascendant himself, and that can happen only through the event of death. Is it clear, please? So Venus, if you look at Venus, Venus itself is very strong planet to give the event of death, because Venus is in 5, Venus is in 12, Venus is in 3, Venus is in 4, and Venus is in 11. It is not present only in 6th house, which is also a Marka house, but it is linked to all the other death giving houses. Is it okay?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Right. Now, Venus has no PS. Is it okay?
Yes, sir.
Sir.
Now let us read Venus through Mars, Venus, and Mercury. Now, if you study Mars, Mars is there in 12th house. Am I right?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
12th
Yes, sir. Yes,
house
sir.
means 8th house.
Yes, sir.
So the star lord is strongly linked to the 8th house.
Yes, sir.
And if you root the script of Mars, Mars is in 6th house, which is Marka house.
Yes, sir.
Mars is in 11th house, which is again a Marka house.
Yes, sir.
Mars is also present in 4th house, which is again a Marka house.
Yes.
Right? So Mark is strongly linked to 8th house and the Marka houses. All the 3 Marka houses, 6th house, 11th house, and 4th house. Okay?
Yes, sir.
So Mars gives me 8. Now what is important? The sublord should give me 1. That is important. Now what is the rule and the conditions which we need to follow here? For Dasha Lord, the promise has to be strongly of 1 and 8. Either 1 appears here at the star lord level, 8 at sublord level, or 8 at star lord level and 1 at sublord level. This is very, very important. If only one house appears here, that 8th house is here and the ascendant or the first house is not here, then we need to adjust this time period so that we get a situation where the star lord and sublord gives me 1 and 8 or 8 and 1. That is one point which is important. The second point which is important here is that if the star lord itself gives me 1 and 8, then the sublord should be linked to Marka Badka houses.
Okay, sir.
Okay, so these are 2 important points which you need to keep in mind. Now, let me proceed to Venus. Venus I have already discussed. Venus is present in 1, 5th house. Venus is present in 12, 8th house. Venus is present in 3, Badka house. Venus is present in 11,
Marka?
Marka house. Venus is present in 4th Marka house.
Yes.
It means there is a strong promise for the event of death, which is given by the Dasha Lord. Right?
Yes, sir.
And then we have to see the sub Lord Mercury. अब Mercury के लिए sub Lord के लिए जो
Badka
it has to be either in Marka or in Badka or in 8th house. So it is 8th Marka or Badka. It means 12th house, 6th house, 12th house or 6th house or 4th house, or it is 11th house. So I need to have either of these, 4th house, 6th house or 6th house, or 11th house or 12th house or 3rd house. So 3, 4, 6, 11 or 12, any one of out of these, it would satisfy the condition for the event of that to happen. Right?
Okay.
If there is appearance of first house, that is the ascendant, only first house, then the event of death will not happen. if along with appearance of ascendant, either of these appears, Marka, Badka or 8th house, then the event of death can happen. Is it clear, please?
Okay.
Appearance of ascendant alone cannot give the event of death. Right? Appearance of third house कौन सा हो जाएगा इसमें? Ascendant का third house कौन सा होगा? 7th. So appearance of 5th and 7th in the final confirmation will mean that the event of death cannot happen. जो मैंने बोला है अभी वो ये बोला है कि हमें दशा लॉर्ड को स्टार लॉर्ड और सब लॉर्ड के थ्रू स्ट्रॉन्ग प्रॉमिस देना चाहिए थ्रू प्रोवाइडिंग ऑल डेथ गिविंग हाउसेस, स्ट्रॉन्ग प्रॉमिस. और जो फाइनल कंफर्मेशन है सब लॉर्ड की,
Sir, when we are checking a death of the grandfather, I think we can rotate that this chart, this granddaughter chart completely.
We can do it, but even explaining it like this doesn't make any difference. Is one of the same thing?
It is giving confusion, sir, because it is a granddaughter chart. We are seeing grandfather death.
Yes.
It is somewhat confusion. If you completely rotate it with respect to the grandfather lagna,
see, it is one as the same thing. The only point is that how you look at the chart, because we are I have rotated it to 5. Okay. Now you
rotate
check
it
Mars.
directly. See that.
Now you check Mars first.
Yes, sir.
Mars first. Ascendant है ना 5th house.
Yes, sir.
So I have rotated it through 5. 5th
Yes,
को
sir.
ascendant बना दिया. Okay. Mars देखो आप.
Yes,
Second
sir.
house
Yes, sir.
में है. Second house में है.
Mark house.
8th house में है.
Yes, sir. Death house.
12th
Also
house
death.
में है.
That is also death house.
12th house में है.
Yes, sir.
ओके. सारे वही हाउसेस आएंगे, रोटेशन में भी वही आएंगे. वहां मैंने क्या बोला था? वहां मैंने बोला था 12th हाउस बोला था, 6th हाउस बोला था, 11th बोला था, 4th बोला था.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That's okay.
6, 11, 4.
Yes, sir.
एक्चुअली मैं उसी तरह से वर्क करता हूँ ना, तो उसलिए मुझे कोई डिफिकल्टी नहीं होता उसमें.
Yes, sir.
Right? So anyhow, you rotate it and then you check it. Mars
Yes,
is
sir.
in 2nd house, right?
Yes, sir.
Marka house.
Mark house.
Mars is in 7th house, Marka house.
Marka.
Mars is in 8th house,
Death house.
Death house. Okay.
Yes.
Mars is in 12th house, Marka house.
That also.
Marka house. 2,
That
7
also
and 12 are Marka.
Yes, sir.
2, 7 and 12 are Marka. Now look at Venus. Venus in 1st house,
Yes, sir.
right? Then
Yes, sir.
Venus is in 7th house.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Venus is in 8th house.
Yes, sir.
Venus is in 12th house.
Yes, sir.
हो गए सारे हाउसेस. अब इसमें जो हमारे पास मार्का कौन सा आ जाएगा?
Yes, sir.
राइट. मार्का हमारे पास 11th हाउस आ जाएगा ना.
11th
हाँ, तो वीनस इज इन 11th हाउस. असेंडेंट 7 है ना. इट्स ए मूवेबल असेंडेंट. मूवेबल साइन. 7th साइन इज मूवेबल साइन. 11th house. 11th
sir,
में
11th होगा.
Venus. Okay.
11th is the Badka.
बात का. Now look at Mercury. If you look at Mercury, Mercury is in 2nd house. Marka satisfies the condition,
Yes, sir.
right? Mercury is in 2nd house, and if you look at Mercury, I suppose Mercury here it is in 12th house,
Yes, sir.
right? Is it okay? So Venus satisfies all the conditions which a Dasha Lord need to satisfy to give the event of death. Is it okay, please?
Yes, sir. Very good.
Now
Thank
you
you,
look at the next one, Mercury. If you look at Mercury, Mercury has no PS.
Yes, sir.
Mercury itself is present in 2nd house. Marka house,
Okay.
right?
Yes, sir.
Mercury through Ketu and Rahu. First of all, we check the promise through Ketu and Rahu. Ketu is Venus.
Yes, sir.
Venus we have already discussed. It is in
Okay.
1, it is in 8. Venus is present in so many cusps. It is present in 1,
Yes, sir.
right? It is present in 7.
Yes,
It
sir.
is
Yes, sir.
present in 8. It is present in 11. It is present in 12. Am I right?
Sir. Yes, sir. It's already.
Mercury through Ketu gives me 1 and 8 because these are the prime houses.
Yes, sir.
Now Rahu either should be present in 1 or in 8 or in Marka or in Badka. That
Yes,
will
sir.
be okay. Either of these houses,
Yes, sir.
right? Now Rahu, if you look here, Rahu is not present in 1, right? Rahu is not present in 2.
Yes, sir.
Rahu is not present in 7. Rahu is not present in 8. Rahu is present in 11. Rahu is present in 12. Okay, Marka and Badka.
Yes, sir.
12th is Marka and 11th is Badka. Am I right?
Yes, sir.
So it means that Mercury through Ketu and Rahu is also giving a very strong promise for death. Now let us check the final confirmation through Saturn. Saturn is present in 1. Now appearance of Saturn in 1 and appearance of Saturn in 3 alone would not cause the death. But along with 1, Saturn is also present in 2. Right?
Marka. Yes, sir.
It is present in Marka. It is also present in 11.
Yes, sir. Badaka.
That is Badka. So Marka and Badka, it satisfies the condition. Thereby Mercury also satisfies the condition for that.
Eighth also is there, sir.
Anji?
Eighth also it is there.
8th, yes, 8th also it is there. It
Yes, sir.
satisfies. हमें तो एक ही चाहिए सिर्फ. We only require 1. Okay? Right? And then after Mercury we have Mars. Mars has no PS. Jupiter, Ketu and Mars. We have already studied all the 3. If you look at Jupiter, Jupiter is in 1. Okay. Then Jupiter is nowhere else. It is only in 1. Ascendant. Right?
Yes, sir.
Ketu is Venus.
Yes, sir.
And Venus we have already discussed. It is in 1. Venus is in 7. Venus is in 8. Venus is in 11. Venus is in 12. So here also it is giving a strong promise. Okay. Now you take the sub-sublord which is Mars. So Mars we have already discussed. It is present in 2nd. Satisfies the condition. Right? Mars is present in 7th. 2 and 7 they are Marka houses. Satisfies the condition. Mars is also present in 8th. Satisfies the condition. Is it okay? So the Antra Lord also very strongly linked to the death-giving houses
Yes, sir.
is okay. Venus we have already discussed. Now why Venus is taken as a Sukshma Lord? Do you know why Venus? Any planet that can be taken as a Sukshma Lord if it links to 1st house, 8th house, any one or any 2 of the 3 Marka houses and Badka house.
Sir.
Okay. Now what are the fundamental conditions for any planet to be Sukshma and Prana to give the event of death? The important point is दोनों के लिए, for both of these, the rules are same. The Sukshma Lord should be strong significator of all death-giving houses. But here we can have a selection of any 2 out of 3 Marka houses. Right? Any 2 out of 3.
Yes, sir.
Any 2 out of 3 means either 2 and 7,
2,
or
11,
it is 2 and 12, or it is 7 and 12, any 2. Now if you read the script of Venus, so Venus through Mars and Venus gives me all the death giving houses. Venus is in ascendant, Venus is in 8th house, Venus is in Marka house, the 3rd house, Venus is in the 12th house, Venus is in the 11th house. So 1 is there, 8 is there, then you have only house missing is 2nd house. All other houses are present. So Venus qualifies to be the Sukshma Lord. One more point, which you always keep in mind, that any dasha Lord,
yes, sir.
which is very, very strong, अब ये किसी बुक में नहीं दिया हुआ. This is
Yes,
I
sir.
am telling you my experience. This is I am telling you what I have seen while analyzing the charts. That any planet, any dasha lord,
Okay.
which is very, very strong,
Does that come in Sukma also?
and yes, is usually the Sukshma lord. I said usually, not always.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
In 90%, 99% cases, any dasha lord which give almost all houses bearing 1 or 2 houses. देखो मार्का होना चाहिए, बाका होना चाहिए, फर्स्ट होना चाहिए, 8th होना चाहिए. अगर ये चारों हाउसेस मिल जाएं, हो सकता है मार्का हाउसेस सारे ना मिले. If it gives all the death giving houses, particularly Badka, first house, 8th house, and any 2 out of the 3 Marka houses, then that Dasha Lord is a very, very strong planet, and that strong planet will also be the Sukshma Lord for giving the event of death. And look here, Venus is strongly present in all death-giving houses except 2. It is not present in 2.
Yes, sir.
Venus is acting as a Sukshma Lord. Is it okay?
Yes, sir.
अब ये important point है. Whenever you need to identify, follow this point. There will be no difficulty at all, and it will always be convenient for you. Once you find the Sukshma Lord, suppose यहाँ पे Sukshma Lord Ketu होता, so I would have adjusted the timing in such a manner till I get the Sukshma Lord Venus. Simple, and that gives me the rectification of time. Is it clear?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Few seconds.
ये बहुत important point है.
Yes, sir.
Now this is not given in books, but you always need to keep in mind when you are doing the BTR, right?
Okay, sir.
Now on 28/6/2015, the timings for the death are 3:36. 3:36. That is moon is the prana lord,
Yes, sir.
right? अब moon prana lord है तो moon should also give me all death giving houses,
That
right?
gives me trouble.
अब if you
Sir, Kapilji,
हाँ जी
instead of moon, Venus also is giving the strong significations of the death houses, sir. Venus also.
sir, death has sir prana lord में Venus is not giving me 2.
अच्छा, that also to be given.
Yes, prana lord में वो भी आएगा.
अच्छा अच्छा अच्छा. Almost all.
Almost all नहीं, all.
Okay, sir.
That is why Venus has not acted as a prana lord.
Okay, sir.
See, the death has already occurred in 2015, and on 28/6/2015, Dasha period lords will be the same. We cannot change.
Yes, sir.
They were already fixed. What we can change is change over here,
Only
right?
Sukma,
I could have adjusted the time so that I get a suitable prana lord. Now, Venus is not the prana lord, or it skipped to be the prana lord because it is not present in 2. 2 is not signified.
Kapilji, that means what? That the prana lord should be stronger than Sukshma lord. The Sukshma lord, if the prana lord is the prime.
नहीं, अगर ऐसा नहीं, we can't really say like that, because it is bit awkward to say like that. Because saying like that means I am confirming it. It may not happen sometimes. ऐसा कभी कभी नहीं होता. सूक्ष्म लॉर्ड प्राणा लॉर्ड दोनों ही स्ट्रॉन्ग होने चाहिए. सूक्ष्म लॉर्ड अगर सारे डेथ गिविंग हाउसेस देगा तो भी बनेगा. प्राणा लॉर्ड सारे डेथ गिविंग हाउसेस देगा तो भी बनेगा. सूक्ष्म लॉर्ड में हमने रिलैक्सेशन क्या किया है कि एनी 2 out of 3 मार्का हाउसेस.
Yes, sir.
Right?
But the relaxation is not there for prana lord, sir.
देखो बाद का तो एक ही हाउस बनेगा. असेंडेंट भी एक ही बनेगा, 8th भी एक ही बनेगा, तो तीनों का होना तो जरूरी है. ऑल दी 3 हैव टू बी देयर, राइट? एंड द मार्का हाउसेस आर 3. One is 2, other is 7, and the third is 12. Then out of 3, any 2, it satisfies to be the सूक्ष्म लॉ. अगर आप वीनस का स्क्रिप्ट पढ़ोगे तो मार्स वीनस मरकरी जो है, तो इसको सारी स्क्रिप्ट पढ़ोगे अगर मार्स वीनस मरकरी की वीनस में, तो क्या देखोगे? मरकरी अपीयर्स इन 2, मार्स अपीयर्स इन 2. एम आई राइट? तो सारी स्क्रिप्ट में क्या देखोगे आप? 2 भी है, 7 भी है, 1 भी है, 8 भी है, और 12 भी है, और 11 भी है. राइट? सो इट इज ए सूक्ष्म लॉ. Now if you take the case of moon में देखो केतु is Venus.
Yes, sir.
Venus is already a सूक्ष्म लॉर्ड, Venus is already a दशा लॉर्ड. इसका मतलब क्या हुआ कि moon also satisfies the condition to be the prana lord. क्योंकि
But it is not coming in connection with the second house, sir.
Yes. Okay. So moon here, if you look here, so moon is present only in 7.
Yes, sir.
Moon is not present anywhere else. In
Yes,
no
sir.
other house except 7th house. And if you look at Rahu is Mars. Mars is giving me a number of houses. So in moon what you find is all the houses, they are signified. Means I get 1, I get 8, I get 3 Badka, I get 2, I get 7, I get 12. Right? So moon as prana lord is okay.
Sir, you told it should give second house also signification.
है तो सही ना. सेकंड देखो ना.
How?
Moon is Ketu, moon Rahu. Rahu is Mars and Mercury. Mars and Mercury both are present in second house. Mars is sub-lord of second house, strongly giving the second house.
Yes, sir.
Is it okay? Any questions?
Yes, sir.
Okay, sir.
So we are in a position to explain all the events of that at this particular time, right?
Okay,
So
okay, sir.
through sub-lord it is giving relation, sir.
Yes. Now the next point that we need to discuss is, now I need to check the moon star lord. If I check the moon star lord, sun sub-lord for the event of death, then the moon star lord is Jupiter and the sun sub-lord is Saturn. So the moon star lord Jupiter and the sun sub-lord Saturn should be strongly linked to the 8th SSL. Now this is another condition which is very, very important that we need to keep in mind. Is it okay? And if you look at Saturn, Saturn is transiting in the sign of Mars in the star of Saturn. We have to read here Saturn also. So Saturn should be a strong significator of death giving houses. Now let us turn back to the chart. Now the moon star lord is Jupiter, and Jupiter should maintain a strong relationship with the 8th SSL, that is Mars. Right? Now if you look here, Jupiter is in the sub of Ketu and Ketu is Mars. Is it okay? Jupiter is in the sub of Ketu and Ketu is Mars. I can substitute Mars here.
Yes, yes.
It means Jupiter is in the sub of Mars.
Mars
Right?
qualified.
It
Yeah,
has
Mars
qualified. Look
yes,
here
yes.
at Mars. Look at Mars. Mars is there in the star of Jupiter. It has qualified.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
हो गया. उसके
Yes,
बाद
sir.
सन, उसके बाद सन सबलॉर्ड सैटर्न. Saturn should form a link with Mars. Now the 8th sublord is Mars and Saturn should form a link with Mars.
Yes, sir.
Now if you look at Saturn, Saturn is linked to Mars at the sub level. Is it fine?
Yes, yes.
So this link is established.
The Mars is in 8th house. There is no problem.
Mars is also present in 8th house. There is no problem.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Right? The link is established. Is it fine, please?
Yes,
Sir,
sir.
Yes, sir. Yes,
why
sir.
we take only moon, star lord and the sun sublord, sir? Why we have to
ना ना
take
ये मार्स तो खुद ले रहे हैं ना. मार्स के साथ तो रिलेशन बना रहे हैं.
Okay, okay, that's okay. But any incident is related with the moon, star lord and sun sublord, sir?
What?
Oh, yeah, yes.
For every event you have to take.
See,
Same.
every event happens when you have when you have moon in a particular star, and that
Yes.
star should have a strong link with the 8th SSL. Only that will possible. That is possible. Suppose the 8th SSL here is some other planet which is not making relationship with the moon star. Thereby, this time period will not satisfy the essential conditions for the event of that to happen. Similarly, the sun sublord, that is important. So the moon star and the sun sublord should strongly link to the 8th sub. And if they link to 8th sub, only then they satisfy all the conditions for the event of death. And if they don't link to it, then the death cannot happen.
Similarly, for any incident like marriage or some other.
Yes. You have to. Yes.
Sir, this is a common rule for all.
Yes, it's a common rule for all events.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Unless and until you follow this rule, you will get any time.
Yes, sir.
अब क्या करते हैं, अगर हम ये रूल नहीं लेंगे तो हम किसी भी टाइम पे एडजस्ट कर देंगे. ओके. अब किसी भी टाइम पे एडजस्ट करेंगे तो इवेंट्स एक्सप्लेन नहीं होंगे या बीटीआर ओके नहीं होगा. इट विल बी इनकरेक्ट बीटीआर. इज इट फाइन प्लीज?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
राइट. तो ये तो था हमारे पास. दिस वाज द इवेंट ऑफ डेथ. नाउ लेट अस प्रोसीड टू द नेक्स्ट इवेंट. एंड द नेक्स्ट इवेंट इज the event of marriage. Right? So the Dasha period lords for marriage, they are Sun, Mercury, Ketu, Moon, and of course the time period was 944. 944 on 20th 11. 944. So Venus. Right?
Yes, sir.
So these are the Dasha period lords on the day 20th 11, 2021. Now here, for the event of marriage, the Bhukti Lord has to be very, very strongly linked to these marriage giving houses, 5, 7, 11. That is important. Dasha Lord.
Sir, marriage you are taking only 5, 7, 11, sir. Why you are not taking second house, which is additional family member?
Look here. Second house is 8th to 7th. Am I right?
Yes, sir.
8 to 7 means it would negate the effect of 7.
Yes, sir.
8 to 7.
Yes, sir.
Okay. The 7th is spouse.
Yes, sir.
और स्पाउस का ये असेंडेंट है. 7th हाउस असेंडेंट है. अगर मैं स्पाउस की बात करूंगा तो उसका असेंडेंट ये आएगा ना 7th का.
सर एक बार रोटेट कर दीजिए सर
चार्ट रोटेट कर दो सर.
अच्छा उसको लुक हियर. ठीक है. अब ये देखो 7th हाउस ये है, सेकंड हाउस इज 8 to 7th, right? Second house is 8 to 7 will negate the effect of 7th house. 7th house mean husband, husband का ascendant ये हो गया, उसका 8th house जो है, what does it mean? 8th to any cusp is hurdles, problems, difficulties. Am I right?
Yes, sir.
इसीलिए सेकंड हाउस को नहीं लेते, केपी में सेकंड हाउस लेते हैं। केपी में सेकंड हाउस, इन केपी द सेकंड हाउस इज टेकन एज एडिशन टू फैमिली। Nowadays even they are not considering the second house, they are also considering 5, 7 and 11. Anji, is it okay?
Yes,
Yes,
sir. Yes, sir.
Now let me see, check out the dasha lord. Now dasha lord should be neutral or it should be positive, means should be giving us the marriage giving houses. It should not give us, say, it should not appear in cusp which negate the marriage. At this point we have already discussed in details earlier also.
Yes, sir.
So if you look at sun has PS.
Yes, sir.
Sun itself is posited in 6, not a good house for marriage,
Yes, sir.
right? But this will come into effect only after the marriage happens, not before that, right?
Yes, sir. Yes,
And
sir.
that too if 6 gets linked to 12th. Okay. So if you look at sun, now if you read sun, script of sun is present in 7th. It is present in 7th. It is present in 11. 7 and 11.
Yes, sir.
Right? It has PS present in 7 and 11.
Yes, sir.
As star lord of 7, as star lord of 11. Both marriage giving houses. Okay. And
Yes,
now
sir.
sun can be considered to be in sun star. So I need to read Rahu.
Yes, sir.
If you look at Rahu, right? Rahu, you know, it is present in 5. It has a PS.
Yes,
Rahu
sir.
has a PS present in 5. That is 1. Then Rahu is present in 5. Rahu is present nowhere else. It is present in 5. Okay. Rahu is Mars and Mercury. Mars is present in 7 and 11. 11 is here, and then 7 is here. So Mars is present in 7 and 11. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Right. So Rahu also satisfies the condition. So sun is present in 7, 11. Rahu is linked to 5, 7 and 11. Is it fine?
Yes, sir.
Rahu is linked to 5, 7 and 11.
So I have one small question.
Yeah. Gee.
Can we not check the cuspal interlink tab, the table which comes?
I don't consider that table. I never work on that table. The reason is because there some mistake is likely to happen. But if we do it like this, no mistake can happen. Now over there what happens? You will find a number of planets which will give you almost all the cusp.
Yes.
And when you are looking at all the cusps, suppose you are also getting 2, you are getting 6, you are getting 12, you are getting 10. That will lead to a confusion whether this marriage will happen early or it will be a delayed marriage. That is one point. And suppose it at sub level you hardly get any of these and you are getting all negative cusp, then the marriage may not happen. So I never look into this chart. Look here. If you just look at this chart, you know. Look at Venus, star lord. 1, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, 11, 12. Look at sublord Rahu, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, all the 12 houses. All the 12 houses.
Yeah.
So that creates confusion. So to avoid confusion, I think it's better if you work it off your own.
Okay.
I never work on this table because what I find is sometimes there are some mistakes in this table also. So we were talking here about Sun. So Sun through Venus, Rahu and Mars. Mars we have already discussed 7 and 11. It is okay. Right? Next is Mercury. Now, what is important? The Bhukti Lord should either be posted in 7, that is one point, or the Bhukti Lord should be a co-ruler of the 7th cusp, that is another point, or the Bhukti Lord should be co-ruler of 5 or 7 or 11, that is the third point, right?
Okay, sir.
See, what is given in the books is that the Bhukti Lord should be strongly linked to marriage giving houses. And over there they write that the Bhukti Lord should either be a co-ruler of 7 or a co-ruler of 5 or a co-ruler of 11. It is good if it is a co-ruler of 7. If suppose it is not present in 7, then it should be in 5th or 11th. Now in the present case, what you find is the Bhukti Lord is neither in 5, nor in 7, nor in 11. And on the contrary, it is posted in 6th house. Right?
Yes, sir.
But the plus point with us is that Mercury has no PS.
Yes, sir.
And since it has no PS, then this planet Mercury, through its star lord and sublord, should be strongly connected to 5, 7 and 11. Means 5, 7, 7, 5, 7, 11, 7, 5, 11. It could be any way. So it has to give a strong promise, strong linkage to 7th cusp, strong promise of linkage to 7th cusp directly or indirectly. Now let us read Mercury. If you look at Ketu, Ketu itself is not present in 5, not in 7, not in 11. But if you read Ketu, Ketu is Venus and Mars. Venus is there in 5, not in 7, it is in 11 also. Venus is there in 5 and 11, right?
Yes, sir. Yes,
And
sir.
if you read Ketu as Mars, then Ketu as Mars, then Mars is in 7 and 11. It means that Ketu through Venus and Mars is giving me 5, 7 and 11 strongly. Is it okay?
Is it okay, sir?
And then Rahu.
Yeah.
Rahu itself is not in 5, not in 7, not in 11. We have already discussed. But Rahu is present in 5. It has PS.
Yes, sir.
It satisfies the condition. Ketu 5, 7, 11, Rahu 5. And if I read the script of Rahu through Mars and Mercury, Mercury is not present in 5, 7 and 11, but Mars is in 7 and 11.
Yes, sir.
Right? It also satisfies the condition. And then finally, Mercury is in Saturn sub-sub. Saturn is posted in 7. It has a PS. Strongly favors the event of marriage. Right? Thereby, Mercury is a strong Bhukti that can give the event of marriage. Any questions, please? देखो जो पॉइंट मैंने यहाँ पे बोला है कि जो हमारी एसेंशियल कंडीशन होती है वो ये होती है कि मरकरी जो है या तो साथ में बैठा हो या साथ का कोलर हो सपोज 7 का कोरूलर नहीं है तो 5 या 11 में से किसी एक का कोरूलर होना चाहिए। अब यहाँ पे मर्क्यूरी ना 5 में, ना 7 में, ना 11 में, तो पहले इंस्टेंट पे जब हम मर्क्यूरी को देखेंगे तो हम ऐसा कहेंगे कि मर्क्यूरी विल नॉट गिव द इवेंट ऑफ मैरिज। परंतु इस तरह से कंक्लूजन देना भी अपने आप में ठीक बात नहीं। क्यों? क्योंकि बहुत सारे चार्ट्स में ऐसा देखा गया है कि हालांकि मुक्ति लॉर्ड को 7 में या तो बैठा होना चाहिए या 7 का कोरूलर होना चाहिए, जो एक बहुत ही नेसेसरी कंडीशन है, लेकिन इसके बावजूद भी बहुत सारे चार्ट्स में कभी कभी भुक्ति लॉर्ड जो है 5, 7, 11 में नहीं होता। और अगर ऐसी कंडीशन प्रिवेल करे किसी भी चार्ट में जिसमें 5, 7, 11 में मर्क्यूरी यानी भुक्ति लॉर्ड ना हो, तो ऐसे केस में भुक्ति लॉर्ड को बहुत स्ट्रॉन्ग मैरिज गिविंग हाउसेस का सिग्निफिकेटर होना चाहिए। और अगर आप देखो यहां से केतु को, केतु 5, 7, 11 दे रहा है, राहु मार्स के थ्रू जो है 7, 11 दे रहा है, और 7, 11 ही नहीं 5 भी दे रहा है। डू यू नो भाई? राहु को पीएस है,
Yes, sir.
राहु 5 में है। राहु क्या है? मार्स और मरकरी है। इसका मतलब 5th हाउस में राहु है, मार्स है और मरकरी है, तीनों है।
राहु 5 में किधर है सर?
देखो तो सही मैम, भावा चार्ट
हाँ
में
ओके,
देखो,
ठीक है ठीक है ठीक है
भावा चार्ट में देखो मैम,
ठीक
ठीक है।
Perfect.
ठीक है ठीक है।
राहु 5 में है और पीएस है, इसीलिए मार्स और मरकरी भी 5 में प्रेजेंट है। इज इट क्लियर?
क्लियर
सर।
राइट। इसका मतलब क्या हुआ कि मार्स हमारे पास यहाँ 5 में भी है, 7 में भी है, 11 में भी है। केतु देखो 5 में भी है, 7 में भी है, 11 में भी है, और सैटर्न देखो 7 में बैठा हुआ है। तो दिस भुक्ति becomes a very strong significator of marriage giving house. Is it okay?
ओके सर ओके।
Yes.
देखो देखो, एक रूल नहीं फॉलो किया भुक्ति ने कि 7th का कोरूलर नहीं बना, 7th में प्रेजेंट नहीं है, पॉजिटिव नहीं है। इन स्पाइट ऑफ दैट इट इज स्ट्रांगली गिविंग linked to 7th house, 5th house and 11th house, and that is why Mercury Bhukti is very, very strong to give the event of marriage. Right?
ओके सर।
Now let us go to Antara Ketu. केतु को रीड करें, मार्स जुपिटर मार्स हमने अभी डिस्कस कर लिया। मार्स 5, 7, 11 में है। मार्स ये देखो 5 वर्चुअल सब लॉर्ड।
यस सर।
मार्स ये देखो 7 सब लॉर्ड, 11th साइन लॉर्ड। 5, 7, 11 है।
यस सर।
जुपिटर देखो 7 में है, 5 में है, 5 and 7। जुपिटर इज प्रेजेंट इन 5, जुपिटर इज प्रेजेंट इन 7। ओके, 5 and 7 दोनों में है। फाइव एंड 7 दोनों में है जुपिटर।
यस सर।
राइट। और उसके बाद अगर आप देखो तो मार्स अगेन 5, 7 and 11। सो केतु अंतरा ओके।
यस सर।
Now look at moon. Moon Sukshma. Moon is in Ketu, Moon and Rahu. Ketu is 5, 7, 11. हमने अभी डिस्कस किया।
यस सर।
Ketu is Venus, Mars, 5, 7, 11. Moon is strongly present in 11, 11 sublord.
यस सर।
Right. And then Rahu. Rahu is again 5, 7 and 11.
यस सर।
Through Mars and Mercury. So Moon Sukshma okay. It is giving me all the three cusps 5, 7, 11. And then if you read Venus, Venus is Mars, Venus and Mercury. Mars 5, 7, 11, Venus 5, 11, and Mercury is again 5 and 5 virtual sub-sublog. Is it fine? Is it okay?
Okay, sir.
Sir, is there any special? Sir, is there any special rule for selecting the Sukshma lot?
Same rule.
Just like,
Same rule.
like
Promise
sir,
of 5, 7, 11.
only 5, 7.
Look here. Look here. Sukshma Lord is Moon. Moon is Ketu. Ketu is Venus, Mars. Venus is 5, 11. Right?
Yes,
Venus
sir.
is 5, 11.
Yes, sir.
And then Mars is 5, 7, 11. So it means Ketu is 5, 7, 11. Moon is 11. So it is giving a promise of all the three cusps, 5, 7, 11. Thereby it's a Sukshma Lord. Is it okay?
Yes, sir.
So if you take a case of Venus, Venus is also Mars, Venus, Mercury.
Yes, sir.
Strongly giving a promise of 5, 7, 11. Mars is 5, 7, 11. Venus is 5, 11. Mercury is 5. So it gives and satisfies all the conditions. So marriage has happened on this particular day.
Yes, sir.
Is it okay? So we have explained 2 events today. Now, in the next class, we'll carry on further ahead of this because still the modification, rectification is to be done here because these events are readily explained on the basis of this time period. But when we look into the progression chart, then the progression chart will not pass at this particular time. So we need to adjust these timings further, right? So in the next class, we'll talk ahead of this.
Okay, sir.
Okay. Any questions now, please? Any questions?
Sir,
किसी ने
sir,
कोई
sir,
क्वेश्चन
one
पूछना
doubt,
तो
sir, one doubt, sir.
बोलो
सर केवल ये अरेंज मैरिज के लिए 5, 7, 11 आर रिक्वायर्ड अरेंज
किसके लिए
मैरिज के लिए
से, से,